Welcome back to the Scream Factory at Paramount's Great America. The Alien film series is one of the most adapted into video games, with the best of the bunch being Aliens vs. Predator.
That game was championed for its tense atmosphere and some of those frightening gameplay in ages, though it did have its problems: a poor graphics engine, no storyline, and a hard multiplayer interface. Now, all of that's been changed for the sequel, and it picked the right season to scare us silly all over again. My bad.
6 weeks ago, the Weyland-Yutani Corporation lost contact with a research facility on LV-1201. We're here to find out why.
Yep. Futuristic space people never learn. Thankfully so, because we get to play Aliens vs. Predator 2. Following the original PC games format, you play 3 different storylines: as a colonial marine, a predator, and one of those nasty, nasty aliens. All 3 scenarios have benefited from cohesive storylines that eventually interconnect. New abilities, like the alien's talent to pounce long distances, and the Predator's use of his powerful legs to leap, bring the game more in line with their cinematic ancestry. Furthermore, the Lithtech engine improves the look of the game considerably.
What the hell is that?
With vast outdoor environments and complex indoor detail, gone is the oppressive soot that marked the original. The standout technical achievement is the sound. Using familiar motion detector beeps and the menacing trill of the Predator, you'll keep your ears attuned and jump at every noise. Where the game succeeds and ultimately hurts itself is that the Marine levels are far superior to the other 2. Once again, the game recaptures the constant anxiety and doles out genuine scream-out-loud shocks when the bugs set themselves upon you. The use of exhilarating scripted sequences make you feel like you're on a funhouse ride that you hope never ends. It does, though, and while the Alien and Predator levels do offer some thrills of their own, like playing the facehugger in search of a human host, they lack the desperate sense of purpose characterizing the Marine scenario. Despite the narrative backbone, they descend into rampages of bloodletting that eventually become uncomfortably sadistic. That said, the decidedly robust multiplayer redeems the game. With a variety of character classes within the species and game types that include both deathmatch and more mission-based team play, the AVP2 package is more than rounded out. It is worth noting that maps are extremely large and benefit from several players. Aliens vs. Predator 2 has moments that are so good that you'll feel it when it falls from those highs. But if you want one frightening time and some strong, unique multiplayer, there's nowhere else to look. We give it a 4 out of 5.
You know, aliens are a very modern monster, but if you want to go the classic route, there's always vampires. Fortunately, there's not just one vampire game coming out, there's a whole crypt full.
Ever since Bram Stoker wrote about our favorite count, or maybe even before that, humans have been attracted to the mythology of vampires.
Dracul the devil.
Whether it's fascination with immortality or just the fact that the buggers like to suck our blood, we're smitten, or more appropriately, bitten. Even the game world likes the vampire, and why shouldn't we? First of all, the monsters are undead, and we like the undead. Second, they're pretty invincible unless you happen to have a wooden stake handy. Thirdly, they usually have cool powers, like being able to turn into other animals, for instance.
But enough talk! How about you?
And in the long history of vampire games, we've seen some decent titles.
Russia, you are worthy.
And some not-so-decent titles.
Ah, yummy. Feed me more.
However, if you're tired of these moldy oldies, this season's crop of new releases promises plenty of fanged heroes and anti-heroes.
Who shall live and who shall die?
In Vampire Knight, you play a gun-toting vampire hunter who must save the local townsfolk from an undead menace. The game comes with light gun, and instead of slow-moving zombies, your enemies strike vampire fast. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 2 begins where the cliffhanger of the original left off. Just like the original Soul Reaver, the sequel has lots of puzzles, though they've been overhauled. You can expect conundrums of a whole new variety this time around. Given the seedy nature of Nosgoth, Raziel will get into plenty of battles with both the living and the undead, which means you get to use his Reaver powers for wicked means. Blood Omen 2 is the 4th installment in the Legacy of Kain series.
Cast him in.
It takes place before the events in Soul Reaver and stars a younger and less powerful Kain. Ultimately, his quest to reclaim his honor in Soul Reaver means lots of fast-paced combat. Despite being a youthful vampire, Kain still possesses some awesome powers. From Dusk Till Dawn is a third-person action title based on the movie of the same name. You play Seth Gecko, the George Clooney character in the film, and essentially your mission is to escape from jail, clobber bloodsuckers, and of course, stay alive. So there you are, a slew of new titles to get your, blood pumping. Now, gather up your garlic and crucifixes, turn down the lights, and prepare to enter a world that's gone completely batty.
Those bloodsuckers just got Lisa, and you had a chance to save her. I'm pulling the plug on you before you do any more damage. Breaking contact.
Coming up on Extended Play, Luigi's going ghostbusting on a GameCube. Hello? And Elvira's got tips to help you get through even the most frightening of horror titles.
Keep that itchy trigger finger under control.